The First Punic War, a titanic struggle between Rome and Carthage. The First Punic War, fought between 264 and 241 BC, was the first of three epic confrontations between two of the ancient world's most powerful civilizations, Rome and Carthage. This brutal conflict spanned over 2 decades and unfolded on land and sea, driven by the thirst for supremacy in the Western Mediterranean. The war's outcome not only reshaped the geopolitical landscape of the ancient world, but also set the stage for further devastating clashes. By the early 3rd century BC, Carthage was a wealthy and dominant maritime power, controlling trade routes across the Mediterranean. The city-state boasted a vast mercantile empire, underpinned by its powerful navy and its control of territories in North Africa, Sicily, Sardinia, Corsica, and parts of Spain. Rome, by contrast, had emerged as a rising force on the Italian peninsula. Though its dominion was limited compared to Carthage, its disciplined legions and unrelenting ambition made it a formidable adversary. The expansionist policies of both powers inevitably brought them into collision. The spark for the First Punic War was ignited in Sicily, a strategically critical island that lay at the crossroads of trade routes between Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. For centuries, Sicily had been a contested battleground for various powers, but by the 3rd century BC, its control was divided. The western part of the island was under Carthaginian influence, while the eastern part was dominated by Greek city-states. The immediate cause of the war was a power struggle in the Sicilian city of Messana, modern Messina. A band of mercenaries, known as the Mamertines, seized control of the city and soon found themselves under threat from both the Greek city of Syracuse and Carthage. Seeking help, the Mamertines appealed to Rome, despite their dubious reputation. Rome, seeing an opportunity to weaken Carthaginian influence in Sicily, decided to intervene. In 264 BC, Rome sent a force to Messana, marking the beginning of the First Punic War. The Carthaginians, unwilling to relinquish their foothold in Sicily, responded with their own troops. This initial confrontation set the tone for the war, a protracted and ruthless struggle for dominance. Rome, a land-based power, faced a steep learning curve in waging a war that would largely be decided at sea. Carthage, with its formidable navy, initially held the upper hand in naval engagements, controlling the Mediterranean with ease. However, the Romans were quick to adapt. One of Rome's most audacious strategies during the war was its rapid development of a navy. Lacking experience in naval warfare, the Romans constructed their fleet by reverse engineering a captured Carthaginian warship. Within a few years, they had built a formidable armada. The Romans introduced the corvus, a boarding device that allowed their soldiers to transform naval battles into land-style combat. This innovation played a crucial role in several Roman victories, as it neutralized Carthage's superior seamanship. The Battle of Mylae in 260 BC marked Rome's first significant naval victory. Using the corvus, the Roman fleet inflicted heavy losses on Carthage, capturing or destroying numerous ships. This victory was a turning point, demonstrating Rome's ability to challenge Carthage at sea. While the naval battles raged, the war on land centered on Sicily. The island became a theater of relentless sieges, skirmishes, and pitched battles. The fortified city of Agrigentum, Acragas, was a key battleground. In 262 BC, Roman forces laid siege to the city, which was defended by a Carthaginian garrison. The war in Sicily was marked by atrocities on both sides. Cities were razed, and civilian populations suffered immensely. Rome and Carthage both employed mercenaries, whose loyalty was often fickle, adding an unpredictable element to the conflict. Despite Rome's successes, the war dragged on for years without a decisive conclusion. Carthage maintained its strongholds in western Sicily, while Rome struggled to consolidate its gains. Both sides faced enormous logistical challenges as the protracted conflict strained their resources and manpower. Carthage, with its reliance on mercenaries, often faced issues of loyalty and discipline within its ranks. Rome, on the other hand, suffered from the attrition of its citizen soldiers and the enormous financial burden of maintaining its fleets and armies. In 256 BC, Rome launched an ambitious campaign to strike at the heart of Carthage's empire. A massive Roman fleet, carrying an invasion force, sailed for North Africa. The two sides met in the Battle of Ecnomus, one of the largest naval battles in history. Despite fierce resistance, the Roman fleet emerged victorious, clearing the way for the invasion of Carthage itself. However, the campaign in Africa proved disastrous for Rome. The Roman general Regulus achieved some initial successes, but was ultimately defeated and captured. The Carthaginians, under the brilliant leadership of the mercenary commander Xanthippus, regained the initiative. The war entered its final phase in the 240s BC. Exhausted by years of conflict, both sides sought to end the stalemate. Rome, despite suffering several setbacks, remained relentless in its pursuit of victory. The decisive moment came at sea. In 241 BC, the Roman fleet achieved a crushing victory at the Battle of the Aegates Islands. Using superior tactics and newly constructed ships, the Romans annihilated the Carthaginian fleet, cutting off their supply lines to Sicily. Faced with the prospect of starvation and further defeats, Carthage sued for peace. The Treaty of Lutatius, signed in 241 BC, ended the First Punic War. Carthage was forced to cede Sicily to Rome and pay a massive indemnity. This marked the beginning of Rome's transformation into a Mediterranean superpower. The war left deep scars on both sides. Carthage, humiliated and financially crippled, faced internal unrest and the challenge of rebuilding its empire. Rome, though victorious, had paid a heavy price in lives and resources. The First Punic War was only the beginning of a long and bitter rivalry. The seeds of the Second Punic War, which would see the legendary Hannibal cross the Alps to challenge Rome, were sown in the aftermath of this conflict. In the dark annals of history, the First Punic War stands as a testament to the brutality and tenacity of two ancient superpowers. The shadow of this war lingered for generations, shaping the destiny of Rome and Carthage and leaving a legacy of bloodshed and ambition that would resonate through the centuries.